Hi, my name is Aldis Barsketis. I'm one of the senior brokers at Expat Insurance. And what I'm going to talk to you about today in this video is life insurance. Life insurance for expats. It is a complicated topic. Hopefully I can break this down and help you understand this. I've been in the insurance business for over 35 years. I've had an insurance license since 1994, and I've been working with expats for over 12 years. Before we take a look at the international or global insurance options, let's take a look at the US or Canadian or even the European insurance markets. So within this area, you have some of the oldest insurance companies in the world, companies that have been around for 100+ years, and with that have hundreds of years worth of data. With that, they can offer you some of the lowest rates in the world because they know the market, they know the actuarial numbers, and with that, they can offer you very, very competitive rates. As I said, some of the lowest in the world. Now, let's take a look at a life insurance policy in the United States. That is in a system that has, in the United States, for instance, 911 throughout the whole country. Something happens to you, you call 911, they find you. If you're on some rural road in the middle of nowhere, a helicopter can bring you, a med flight helicopter can bring you to a level 1 trauma hospital within a half hour. Hospitals track your data. HIPAA, there are systems in place like MIB that can basically track have you been admitted into a hospital. You go get a pharmacy prescription, that is tracked in another system. They know, they can predict using a lot of data what will happen to you when it comes from a point of view of life insurance. Let's compare that to insuring abroad. There is really a lot of uncertainty. There is not a lot of data. And you take a look at some of the risks. Economies, for instance, Venezuela. Take a look at Venezuela. 10 years ago, it was one of the most roaring economies. Now it's, for all intentional purposes, a disaster. You take into account other risks, things like getting robbed, crime, not having access to proper medical care. And with this, there is more risk. And with the risk, the rates aren't necessarily as good as they are in the United States. However, there are companies that thrive, they cater to this market, they operate at a higher risk, and there are options that are available with them. When you apply for a US life insurance policy from a US company, here's kind of what to expect. First of all, the policy has to be presented to you on US soil. Individual states have their rules, but in general, you have to have the policy presented to you. You have to have the application done in the United States. You need to have usually your exam. There's a little bit of flexibility with that in the United States, and it has to be delivered. Now here's what happens. As part of the application, there is going to be a section that's going to say, what are you doing with your travel? How long are you going to be outside of the United States? The minute that you start filling out that you do not reside in the United States, well, at that point, the policy most likely will be denied. However, there are a few insurance companies that specialize in dealing with the situation that will allow you to live abroad. We work with several of these companies. Now, the rates are slightly higher. There's only a handful of companies that will accept expats that live full-time abroad, but they're usually less expensive than the global options or, for instance, the local policies from the companies abroad in other countries. Now, these policies from U.S. insurance carriers require you to have what we call a nexus for the United States. What does that mean? There has to be a tie to the United States. That could be a brokerage, that could be a business, it could be a tourist visa. With that, you can usually qualify for these policies. Now, this next section really does not pertain to expats, but it might. Let's say you have a foreign spouse or family. A foreign national in the United States can be subject to some very substantial estate taxes on the assets they have in the United States. Now, for a typical U.S. citizen, the first multi-million dollars are exempted from estate taxes, but for a foreign national, they can literally be subject to a 40–50% tax that's usually due within 6 months on the assets they have in the United States. This can be a huge problem in that the family might have to liquidate a real estate property or sell their stocks or bonds at a loss. And there are policies for foreign nationals that can be set up to basically provide for this need. Okay, let's take a look at the global options. Now, we've kind of determined that the US market, the Canadian market, is very sophisticated, and that's where you can get the lowest rates. There are global carriers. These are from companies that specialize in insuring for expats. And why would you want to go with one of these companies? Well, number one, convenience. Maybe you do not want to return to Canada or the United States to complete the process. It just might make no financial sense to do that, to spend $1,000 on a trip back to the United States. Two, these policies are definitely built for expats, and the entire process, the application, the medical underwriting, the delivery, the presentation, can all be done abroad. Now, within the global carriers, there are different types of policies. There are policies that you can almost have immediately issued. These are for the smaller term policies. Let's say $100,000 or $250,000. The underwriting is very simple. Some of these companies can approve you within 1 day, may not require any kind of a medical exam. There are other policies that will require medical exams, larger face amounts. These policies might be term policies or permanent policies, but there are definitely options. Let's talk about underwriting. We talked about policies that would be issued in the United States versus a global policy. If you have any opportunity to have the policy issued in the United States, it might make sense. Remember, you have the 4 things that you need to do. Apply, potentially have the exam, have the policy delivered and issued in the United States. If it doesn't make sense or you don't have the option to return to the United States, we can help you with a global policy. As part of the process, what we usually start with is we take a look at your needs. Why do you need this life insurance? Is it for family protection? Is it for an estate tax situation, business insurance? Or, for instance, you need it for a mortgage. In Latin America, policies need to be issued equal to the term of the mortgage and also the balances. The second thing that we'll take a look at is we'll take a look at your health. We'll see what is possible, what might be required for that, potentially exams or obtaining medical records. How can I help you? In the video description is my email. There's also a Calendly link, which you can schedule an appointment with me. We'll kind of go through all these different options. We'll take a look at what is possible for you, and then all of the different products that we might have that might suit what you're looking for. Give me a call, email me, set up an appointment with me.